Streaming. Hello and welcome to a gaming conversation with friends. Apparently, somebody put in the channel that Stubbs has fucked it all up. That is correct. I did, and I bet that was Removable Sanity that pointed that out. That I fucked it up.
I would never do such a thing. What a heinous thing to say. It was Masuku.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to find the message. There was nobody's put anything. Hang on a minute. All messages. No, you winding me up. There's nothing in there.
Of course we're winding you up. We're not that vicious.
But hello and welcome to a gaming conversation with friends. I don't know why I keep nearly saying midweek gaming. I don't know why. Recently. How is everyone? And welcome to Masuku. Thanks for coming on.
Nice to be back here, and it's really nice that the long hiatus is over, and you are not so busy anymore with the work and studies and so on. So it's really nice that everybody is now back together just on time for Christmas.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. It is. It's. I do.
The Renegade Master.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I always say that. Yes, we're back once again with the Renegade Master. I do actually miss it because when I don't do it, because it's more like
Therapy.
Get together with friends. Yeah, it is. It is. It's kind of like that. It is.
He gets to decompress in front of hundreds of different people.
Thousands around the world. No, I'm joking. Not thousands, but yeah.
That's why we're probably in Australia.
No, that was Stubbscast, not this podcast. No,
okay.
Surprisingly,
We should
Stubbscast has. I mean, three episodes I've done this year of Stubbscast, and yet it's still growing. I do not understand it, but in Australia they seem to like it. They do. I don't do many per year, but of that show, I'll try and do more next year. I always say that every year though with Stubbscast. I do. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Masuku. Welcome to Darren in the chat and Fimber. Thanks for popping in. And welcome back to the Renegade Master, Removable Sanity.
Hello.
And he has a can of stout in his hand, apparently.
I don't have a can of stout. What heathen do you think I am? I have it in a pint glass.
Oh, I've got my strong dark fruit in
I've decided to, as it is near Christmas, I decided to try something unusual, and it's a Black Forest Ghetto Stout. I'm not a stout drinker by any means, but I must admit this is it's going down rather well.
That's good to hear. If you ever need to pop out to get another can, don't worry.
No, no chance. Jesus Christ. I don't drink very much these days. I think this would probably knock me for 6 anyway.
Fair enough. And welcome back, VJ. Thanks for returning. It's much appreciated. It's always good to hear your takes. It is.
Oh, no. Thanks for having me back on the show, Mr. Stubbs. I appreciate that very much. And I think it's wonderful that we have Masuko on. Thanks for joining us, Masuko.
It is.
And making the show whole once again.
That's so nice. Nice of you. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
I hope so.
For the amount that you are paying me.
Miserable if it's like, Jesus Christ, I'm here. What the hell am I doing here? I'm not getting paid enough for this.
Oh, no. I was watching a TV program, Masuku. It was about Gordon Ramsay, Gino, and Fred in experiencing different kinds of Christmas, and they happened to be in Finland.
Yes.
And I was like, they're eating reindeer. I have to ask Masuku, does he eat reindeer? Do you eat reindeer?
Yes. We eat reindeer meat. We are guilty, and I have to say it's also very good. So I hope it doesn't cause any childhood traumas, but It's very delicious.
No, but she did.
That's fine.
The lady pointed out though that it's not Rudolph or the Santa.
No.
Well, it does explain why the children in the southern hemisphere never receive Christmas presents anymore.
Oh, thanks for
Yes.
that.
Those reindeers don't wear woolly hats; they wear bikinis, and those are the ones that.
Yeah, but normally it's served in Finland. It's like a stew, so it's made very very soft. It's almost like pulled pork consistency, and then they add some lingonberry on top of it. And normally the side dishes like smashed potatoes.
Don't forget to mention that it's been bathed in stout.
It's not just
no.
I've eaten it.
No.
I've actually eaten it, so I can tell you now. Masuku is 100% correct. It is a dish I would recommend.
Where's a stupid question? Try. What's it taste like? I know you're going to say reindeer. But what's it close to in taste? Is it close?
It's not going to taste like chicken, is it?
What? I don't know. Do I?
Well, it's like. Have you eaten rabbit? Rabbit.
Yeah, it's a very gamey sort of.
Oh, not
which you would expect it to be. It's a very gamey sort of meat.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm answering from Masuku. It's the only reason I've answered it because I've tasted it myself, sort of thing. But I'm trying to put it in words that will probably Stubbs will understand, because I know he's it's probably for you, Masuku. It's hard because I don't know if you've ever tried rabbit or pigeon or pheasant or
tried any of them. Any of them?
Yeah, like those bird game. They are normally much more drier. So this one is softer. So it's like rabbit probably is the nearest I would guess.
I was about to say venison's probably close-ish.
Yeah.
If you've tried venison, Stubbs?
No. It's embarrassing when I go to these pubs I service. I know. And they serve squirrel and all sorts, and I've not tried anything like that.
Squirrel?
Yeah, it serves, a lot of places serve squirrel. You can serve squirrel.
I've had squirrel before. I've tried that.
Now we know why there's no more episodes and Rainbow's been discontinued from ITV. He's sweet and Sue for breakfast. Oh dear. I knew we'd get to the bottom of it, removable.
It is. But I reckon, it's one of those things. If you're probably going to Finland, I would definitely recommend trying it, because it is one of those. It's a very hearty meal. I'll tell you that it's a hearty meal, at least from an Englishman's perspective.
It looked it.
It is very much a hearty. It's definitely well suited for winter.
It is.
I know the secret. I know your
homely meal that I could definitely. One of those things that, to be honest with you, us Brits would probably try and kidnap and make it our own if we could, because it's just that nice, warm, hearty meal that you could definitely have on a hot, wet winters.
After watching this program, though, I know Masuku's secret's looking younger than he is. They all jump in the ice water, like they just get sunk in ice water.
Yeah.
That's what that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
And they were walking around like it's normal, with like just shorts on.
Yeah.
Jump straight in.
Well, it does have beneficial effects. There has been studies to say there is beneficial effects for dunking yourself in the water.
Well, I had this lady, right? I had a daughter, right? And her daughter didn't look much older than her. And it must be because of this ice water. It must be.
Yeah, it's good for circulation. Definitely.
That's what it said.
But also, it's good for weight loss. I think is what they were saying. Is that it's watching some of the fitness channels. Is that it raises your body's.
It's those brown fat that is burning the normal fat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. It burns it, but helps burn off, and it lasts for a longer period of time as well. So Apparently, in the morning is the best time to do it. You jump in, and it kind of sets your body already at a peak of burning fat off, so that by the time it's lunchtime, it's starting to dissipate. But by your breakfast and your lunch has happened, you've kind of effectively burnt a lot of it away already. Where if you didn't do it, your body has to gradually get to that point before it's at its peak fat burning performance. Again, I'm kind of paraphrasing it quite dramatically.
Well, it's all the rage now. Because I went to a customer's house during the peak of the summer, and he's got a swimming pool, he's got this and that, and suddenly he popped up out of nowhere. He's got this like he jokingly said, I don't think he was being serious.
Ice bath.
He says, "Do you fancy a dip, mate?" No, you're all right.
It is apparently good for you. Yeah, as I have said, it's good for your circulation. It's good for fat loss. And looking at how Masuka is, when I met him, trust me, it must be doing some wonders.
Yeah, he has to grow the beard to show he looks older. He probably looks about 20 otherwise. Is that correct, Masuka?
I don't know about that, but. Yeah, I would if you are visiting Finland, it's nice to try them. If you don't want to go to the ice bath, another good option is go like walk in the snow. So that also gives that refreshing feeling after sauna.
Nice.
So it's not so bad as the ice water, but you can also lie down in the snow. That's also relaxing.
It's me. I'm the sort of person who would do everything. If I'm going to another country, I'm going to completely.
I'm going to take it as
throw myself into all their cultures.
I'm going to take it as a given that you have seen the Northern Lights, Masuka. Or you have.
Yeah.
It must be amazing. That must be.
Yeah, they are really. It's quite interesting phenomenon. Like in the
it's weird.
In the night time. Yeah,
it is. Weird.
It is.
It's ethereal. If that makes the wording correct, ethereal. The only time I ever got to saw it was when I went to the North Pole. I strangely enough saw it whilst I was in the airplane in air, and it was beside me.
Wow, that's very nice.
The light was shimmering at an angle,
cool.
so as we was flying, it was just right beside us. You're looking out the window. It's like that's just weird, and it was just the way the refraction worked, and it was just literally, effectively, we was like, it was at, I don't know if it was like a low level frost or something at the same time, but it was just refracting at the same height as what we was flying through, and it was just a weird situation. Of course, it's weird because you can't actually see it as well as on the ground. The ground is a much more visually impressive sight. So we're just seeing this, like, effectively this line going off into the distance. So it's like, what the hell's that? It's like, oh yeah, that's the Northern Lights. It's like, what, really?
Well done. Like, well done. Welcome to Luke's Stew. Sorry about the burp. That wasn't going to happen.
He says that. That's the lemonade you've been drinking, mate.
Stew. I'm drinking dark fruit. Strongbow. So,
oh God!
Has anyone been
out in about 30 seconds?
Has anyone been playing any games recently?
We don't play games on this podcast. We talk about games. We don't play them. What do you think we are?
I have been playing games recently. I have been.
What have you been playing?
Really, I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now,
nice.
I got a bit fed up with the English dubs. It was annoying me, basically. So I was like, well, I'll see if you could turn the English dubs off and just listen to it in pure Japanese. And it's much better because the nuances in English, they've made a good attempt at English dubs in that game, but a lot of them just ain't right. They don't sound right. It seems affected to Japanese. It sounds just perfect. And obviously, you've got to read it. But even with the English dubs, it's not full. You still got to read anyway. But it's just some of them got these big ass dudes, and some of the things they say are not really. They don't look intimidating coming from a Japanese guy hearing an American voice. But I'm enjoying that again. I am. Have you?
Are you at what point are you now in that game?
Now, have you completed it?
Yeah.
Have you, VJ? Have you removable?
I'm about 3/4 of the way through it.
I'm at the point in the game where, not a spoiler, someone's father's been taken into a care home.
Oh yeah, you're quite early on still.
I'm there, but I'm right at the. I've got to go into a certain clan's headquarters next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're still. I would say you're probably a quarter way through. Quarter way through. Yeah.
Well, I'm enjoying it, but yeah, I enjoyed it more turning the Japanese dubs back on the way it should be. So
the question you really got to ask yourself: have you got the ability to call in the lobster?
No, just the power mates. I was weirded out when I seen
two things there, Masuka, isn't it? It's either A, he didn't do the side quest correctly.
What lobsters?
Oh, he hasn't done the side quest at all.
No.
Oh, you get the well.
I'm
not going to spoil it for you. But
I haven't
there's a potential for calling in a lobster.
Well, I must go and find this before I go into the clan. I'm going to find this side mission if I can.
It is a superb side quest. It's one of my favourite side quests actually to go through it, and it's the end of it is that you. And it's not too much of a spoiler, but it is you get this lobster to basically be part and parcel of one of your allies, and it's superb.
I'll try and find that.
Brings a smile to my face every time I use it.
One thing I was weirded out by is when the power mates thing happened. I wasn't sure what was about to happen. I really wasn't. It was.
Well, to be honest with you, what got me was the Pokemon-like aspects in the game. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's funny also. Yeah.
I was like, what?
What was the term that they used? It was some funny term.
It was a Japanese term, but it was literally like I can't think what it's called now. That's frustrating. VJ, I know he's probably got it mastered in his head somewhere.
What's that? Sorry, removable.
What was the term they used in Like a Dragon? It was like basically their version of the Pokemon. Got to catch them all. But what was they called? It was called something. It was like was it Yu-Gi-Oh or something? Or
Yu-Gi-Oh. You mean from Konami, or you mean there was a version of it within the game itself?
There's a version in the game where you can basically you go around and you them and beating them.
I haven't played this bit of the game, or I haven't noticed it.
It's yeah.
I can't remember now. Yakuza Like a Dragon, right?
Yeah.
I checked it, so it was Tsuchimon.
Tsuchimon.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, it's Tsuchimon. You wait, honestly, there is so many different things in that game that I think you're going to be very surprised about, Stubbs. And there's also some nice Sega emulation going on there as well. So don't forget to check out the Sega arcades.
I'll definitely do that. I will. I know. There's virtual fighters in there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you Stubbs also try the new one that was released in Game Pass?
No.
Itchy.
No. I just want to get Ichiban done first.
Yeah.
I stopped playing games for a bit, you see, because of this course, and I'm now waiting the results. So, I'm trying to play, but I understand how Like a Dragon's an effing massive game. I understand that. That's why I was trying not to do any side missions. But clearly, I have to do side missions to get certain things.
To be honest with you, I think it would be wise for you to do some side missions because you will miss some of the funnest. I mean, I don't know about you, Mizuki, but I found some of the side missions to have some of the most funniest dialogues and funniest characters that you could potentially pick up and meet was in the side missions. The story's good, the main story's good, but it was the side missions that got me. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know about the one where there's a guy trying to meet a girl?
Yeah, that one was very funny. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that, and it's just like, yeah, trust me.
I don't know if I've done that one.
Oh, you'll know if you've done that one. Trust me, you'll know if you've done that one.
I can't remember. But has anyone else been playing any other games apart from me playing just one game?
I've been doing some of the demos that have been on Xbox. Has anyone been playing some of the new demos that have come out on the Xbox?
Is there some event going?
For demos, I really hope you play.
I didn't know that there was a demo event going on.
They put out a whole load of new demos, and yeah, there are some nice new demos on Xbox right now for you to go and play around with. I'd recommend you. We moan a lot on here about why there isn't enough demos.
We do actually. We do. Yes.
So do your thing and go and play some of them. And shout about it, because if we don't well ask for demos.
Very true. Very true.
That's good to hear. I've been playing a lot of the ID Xbox demos. Well done. Yes, that's exactly that. There's a lot of ID Xbox demos that are on there. I really am. There's stuff on there that I would recommend you have a look at. There is some really good demos on there, and it's a few that's definitely made me think about purchasing a few more. That's for sure.
Yeah, I always like to check those ID Xbox demos, because you can always find something interesting there, like that you didn't know about.
Yeah. There is some really good stuff at the moment out there. I must admit, there is some stuff, and there's some stuff that's upcoming as well. So you're getting a taste of what is coming for next year. So yeah, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, that's good.
Speaking of next year, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, so I thought I'll put this on screen. Obviously, if you've played this, don't say what you think of what you've played. Just what you think of the trailer. And what you've heard about. One thing Removable Sanity did say to me, or dropped a link or a leak or something, it was the fact that this whole, how every game has to be online. Apparently they're going to drop that. There's going to be an offline mode, basically.
Yes, so what was the controversy for Suicide Squad was that it was, even though it's a single player game, it's not a single player game, even though it can be a single player game, but it's intended to play with 3 other people, and it's effectively a single player story. It was going to always be online, which is something I just don't like the sound of, especially if servers go down or you can't connect, means you can't play the game. Plus, it also ties in with, if the game servers go wrong, they can basically cancel. You can't play the game. You've kind of lost your ability to play the game. So that was the one thing that was putting me off even putting any thought into looking at this whatsoever, was a 100% online game. I'm just like, nope, not interested. Not interested. If it's going to be a 100% online game, I'm not interested in it at all. Thankfully, they've walked that back now.
That's good to hear. But I'll tell you one thing I noticed, and it's bugged me. The Game Awards, it's not the fact that, it's not hard to clip certain clips, but it seems to me that Jeff Keighley can't get someone who can do these clips right. He's cut a lot of these game trailers up on his own channel, but he hasn't clipped them right. A lot of them you see, like, some of them start with trailers from other games and all sorts. Just thought somebody like that could pay a bit of money to get someone to do the job properly.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
I noticed the same stuff. Yeah, it was pretty funny that it ended like in the awards session, so it's like breaking a little bit the immersion.
It's not that hard though to do, really. Someone can't be asked, or you can't be asked to pay unless he's doing it himself. I'm not paying no one. I could do it myself. You know what I mean? But I just thought, just a minor point. I thought I'll point out.
Yeah, it's that doesn't surprise me. Cost cutting.
Well, it made enough money, I would have thought, with all the advertising. But no, I am actually looking forward to this game. I'm hoping they actually do an open beta
That's what Luke said. Yeah, Luke said open beta or alpha. I don't think they'll do an open alpha. An open beta would be very good.
I hope they do, because then we can talk about it properly. You know?
Yes, yeah, we can actually probably go into and discuss certain things. But yes, it would be nice for everybody to actually experience this. I really hope they do. I can understand why they don't do it, though. I think we mentioned this at the last episode. One of the reasons they don't do it is if people think it's crap, it can put a lot of people off. If people think it's,
it can kill a game.
It's a catch-22. It's a catch-22.
What was that game we were talking about where it killed it? Oh, what was it?
Anthem.
They let everyone play it and it buried the game. It did.
Yep. Buried it. Absolutely buried it. So I'm hoping now that they've gone through and they did the test with a certain number of people, and they've got the responses from that test, they may have a little bit more faith, or they've got a good understanding of where they feel the game needs to improve or not improve. I'm not going to say anything about it, so that they would actually think about doing a alpha.
If they do it, it shows they've got serious faith in the game. And I personally think they should have faith in the game.
Yeah, I think well, we can't talk about that.
Well, no, that exactly. But yeah, just I'm looking forward to it.
We can't talk about it, and he starts to try and just slightly skew off into talking about it.
That was it.
We cannot talk about it.
So also,
we cannot talk about it.
Was there anything people liked at the Game Awards? As in any trailers that they like the look of? Because I've got quite a few of them loaded already. I have. Was it? There was a recent one which Steve was talking about. Was it the? Oh God, he was talking about it just a couple of seconds ago in the chat. It was where this, I can't think what it's called. The one that the CEO cancelled, basically deleted his account. I can't think of it. What was that one? Oh, he's closed the studio. Bimber's on about it. I don't think that was actually at the Game Awards though.
It surely must have been.
I've never seen it, unless it was I don't know. They've not said the name of the game.
It has been said in the chat. If you go further up the chat, there's been it's been said what they're talking about. I can't think what it's called now. My brain's going.
I'm looking at it. I'm trying to find it.
Oh God.
Yeah,
but what was the name of the game you're just talking about on the chat?
I'm looking at the chat. They haven't actually said it. The name of the game.
Yes, I know. I spotted it. I saw it. Timber's been quiet now.
Isn't it that day before?
That's it. The day before. Yes.
Yeah. All the accounts disappeared and the studio's been shut down.
You mean all the money's been gathered and the accounts have shut down?
Yeah, I don't think you can quite call it.
I
don't think you can quite call it a studio, really. I don't. I'm going to show off. What did you lot think? Is that the right trailer? Yeah. HellBlade 2 official world premiere. The official. What did you guys think of that? Did you catch that? Any of you lot?
Well, I was a bit dubious, but it did say captured in the Series X. So it does look good. But again, I'm always, as you well know, I'm always hesitant of any trailers, as trailers can be embellished, especially even if it is captured on the Series X. Trailers are, these could be the best looking bits of the entire game. Yeah. And then the rest of it could be absolutely horrendous.
It does look good. Sorry, I just got to jump in because I've just forgot him. Back from the dead, welcome. Thanks for popping in, mate. Really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, it does look really good. It does.
Yes, I mean it looks good, and I'm hoping that the gameplay is just as good, and that's what I want to see.
This is interesting. What Luke said in the chat, that they are going to put it like in this movie aspect ratio. This game
without an option.
1.9, yeah.
Without the option to remove it. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. That is.
Well, remember, it's a creative choice, and
the
pillar box effect actually may help the resolution frame rate, because you think about it, if it's in this pillar box sort of style, you've probably cut off, I would say, about 25%.
I was going to say
in terms, of graphical fidelity that you have to processing power.
Okay.
So you probably reduce the amount of graphical fidelity on the screen by about 20, as VJ said, a third. That's all of that now is focusing on a much smaller.
Hang on, Luke's got an update. We don't know if you can't remove it yet, only that everything they've shown of it so far is in 21.9 with black bars. So that's
I think that might be done so that they can achieve 60 frames per second, because I think that the way that the game looks, it's just a trailer, Mr. Stubbs.
Oh no.
And so I don't know if it doesn't appeal to me. I didn't even enjoy the first one, so I'm probably not the best person to comment on it. But I think that if the Unreal Engine 5, you can already see what was that game from CI Games Removable that just came out? Lords of the Fallen, was it?
Yes, Lords of the Fallen.
So that just about managed 30 frames per second. So this is on Unreal 5, and with the fidelity that they're trying to sell to consumers, I think that this is possibly the only way that they can manage that frame rate. If that in fact is what they're trying to achieve, it may just be, as Remove was saying, this aspect ratio is basically for the best representation of the game in terms of how the creator views it, and that's all fine. I think it shows a lot of, like what Sony used to do, a lot of future promise, but in terms of what the game is and how it translates into an actual experience, I think I'll have to completely agree with Removable. We'll have to wait and see.
It's one of those things, I suspect. I'm trying to think. There was another game that did something similar where they basically, and to be honest with you, this is not a new technique. This is a technique that's been used way back even to the Mega Drive days, or the Genesis or American phases. And one of the games they actually did this one was the Sega Mega Drive, or the Genesis for American friends, was a game called Zero Tolerance, and it had a letterbox effect with an overlay around it. And they created the only Doom type of game for the Genesis Mega Drive. Genesis stroke Mega Drive is the only Doom type game, and they actually did that where they've actually had to do like a letterbox effect to get it running smoothly.
Removal. I think RE4, Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube had borders. Do you remember? I think it was. I mean, people never complained about it because it was like, oh wow, this is fantastic. This is really selling the game. I really enjoyed it. I didn't mind the borders, but
no, I think you're right. I think that's why I said it was.
The first game I really experienced.
Like I think the Mega Drive one was the first one where they reduced it down to it physically reduced down the screen size to a letterbox effect to get the game running. I think then obviously it obviously then translated to some other games for another.
I guess your point in terms. I guess I'm just supporting the fact that the point that you made. In fact, that hey, look, it may be a creative decision, and in fact, it was a fantastic decision in terms of how Resident Evil 4 on GameCube was received because of its cinematic effect and giving that sort of wider, wider visual view to for the player. And it sold it really, really well.
Oh, and you think about this like widescreen monitors. This is going to be brilliant on widescreen monitors.
It will be. Luke has pointed out though that the trailer and in-game it's in 30. The game will be 30.
But to be honest with you, they do that generally for a lot of trailers. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've seen many trailers that are in 60. And if they are, my gut feeling is they've probably been upscaled. Because if I remember correctly, is what you've got here, is this the 4K version that you got downloaded from?
No, unfortunately, all Jeff's videos on the Game Awards channels are all 1080p.
Exactly. So my gut feel.
Hello, are you there?
This was streamed.
It cut out slightly.
Yeah, sorry, this was streamed.
So he's probably just cut up the stream version. This wasn't off the 4, because he put a 4K version up after.
Possible. Yeah, because that's what they normally do. They normally put in the 4K version after, don't they? They always set it up and where if it hasn't been done.
He doesn't seem to have a proper creator team working on the content to cut up all the content properly, like, and utilize it like most big channels do.
Look, he's not going to get rid of all that advertising money to other people.
That's true.
That money is going in his pocket, and he's going to enjoy every last ounce of it.
Also, I haven't watched all of the Game Awards, but there was a point where you think, why is he even doing some of these awards? Like, he was doing esports awards where the teams weren't even there, and it was just on screen. What was the point? I mean, but the main point of the Game Awards really isn't the awards themselves. It's the new stuff. That's what people are watching for.
Wait,
did you like?
Luke says that the Game Awards was in 4K 60, was it?
I think it was. Yeah, I think you had the option for 4K 60 removal.
It's just the trailers I've got off the Game Awards channel. They're all in 1080p. The ones that have been cut up. I have got a 4K version on here, but because the stream's set to 1080p,
I'm wondering whether it's under Xbox then.
1080p 60. See, my stream's set to 1080p 60. You see, so you wouldn't, even if I showed you the 4K stream, I don't think you'd see the difference.
No, you wouldn't. No, it was the case of the 30 frames versus 60. I was surprised that it was shown at 30. But again, if it is to do with the fidelity aspect of it, it may very well be that is part and parcel of what is there to be done. If I remember correctly, didn't the first one have a 30 and a 60 frame per second option? I'm sure they had graphical fidelity, and they had a performance mode.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you looking
be
forward?
That maybe you'll get 60, but at 1080p.
Are you looking forward to this game, Masuku? By the looks of it, is this your style game?
Well, I'm a little bit mixed feeling because normally I like this kind of story.
Masuko, you can tell us that this is exactly how you go about hunting for reindeer. Come on.
Yes, exactly. Bare knuckled. covered in hides and war paint on my face. Exactly. But yeah, it feels a little bit dark game. So I'm not sure I'm that interested in it. So
you play the first one.
No.
I would probably say play the first one then, just to see if you're going to be interested in it.
Yeah.
Because you're quite right, it is a darkish game, and the first one it was to do with mental illness, and it's one of the things that was it highlighted a lot of things.
I've played a lot of it, but it is a game that I think you'll be right, Masuka. There's a lot of. I find puzzle games hard anyway. But there's a lot of puzzles in this game, and to be fair, to get past some of them, I just cheated. Just looked it up. I did. But I never completed it, but it is...
Really? You never completed it?
No, there's a lot. It's a lovely game, but you are right with mental health, because you've really got to play it with headphones on. You can hear noises in headphones. You really got to play it with headphones on.
Well, that was the idea. Yeah. It was there to try and give you a bit of experience. Was it schizophrenia they were highlighting?
I don't.
Could have been schizophrenia.
It probably would be. When you've got voices in your head.
They did a lot of. I'm trying to remember back now. Again, I apologise if it's not schizophrenia. It was a different illness. And they spoke to a lot of people. If I remember looking at the making of it, they spoke to a lot of people who had that condition. And they explained, or they utilized it. They got them to kind of feed into it, and the idea was very much like, as you said, it was very much like the headphones. You were supposed to hear and pushing you away and telling you how bad you were, and basically it was supposed to give you the experience of what they receive every day, and it did generally do that. Once you realised, for me it did. It definitely opened my eyes and ears to that condition. It was very unique in that response. But the question is now what are they going to do for this one? Is this a similar sort of thing? Is that condition, or is that being taken across? Or is this now just becoming a much more like a arcadey game? So I'm kind of...
I don't know. I kind of got the vibes of Dragon's Lair when I saw it. So.
Yeah, it's like this kind of dark games. I'm okay with dark games, but this seems to be that kind of game that when you reach the end, I don't think much is going to change. Like it's still going to be a very depressing situation, even though you reach the end. So
I can't tell you if you've never finished it. I can't tell you. It's one of those things I really can't.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like it's going to be like that. So I'm like, at least I would hope some kind of levity at the end, that things would be okay. But most likely they will not.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It was when the making of it really did open the eyes of how far they went to try and give it the most authentic experience, and how it is expressed directly to the player. And they did say when they was making it, said this will unnerve a lot of people. Yeah. That's it. So back to the place. So psychosis, hallucinations, or psychotic breaks. Schizophrenia is a split personality disorder, not hearing voices. My apologies. Again, I knew it was a particular form of mental illness, but I just couldn't remember which one it was. So glad for someone in the chat there to help me out. Actually, said as Luke and Back from the Dead both mentioned it's psychosis. So again, my apologies. But yes, it was one of those things that it was highlighting something that I don't think had ever been highlighted before. And it did it really well. So I was surprised actually how this will translate. And again, it'd be interesting to see how this translates to the second one. I'm hoping they'll keep that going through, because it did unnerve a lot of people. And I think that was part and parcel of the game. It's supposed to unnerve you. It's supposed to kind of, give you a feeling of what it's like. And it's not always a pleasant thing. So yeah, for me, I kind of enjoyed it because once I understood that, it was something that I could experience, and I took the experience through the whole thing, and I played the whole thing and completed the whole thing. For me, I enjoyed that. It's one of those things. It's one of those games. I think you will play it and you will enjoy it, or you play it and it will unnerve you and you just won't enjoy it. It's going to be a bit of a Marmite game. I think it's because it is a bit of a hit on your senses, and that's one of the reasons why it's going to be a little bit of a not so good for some people.
Yeah.
So that's why I said if you want to try and play the first one, or I think play the first one if you can, and see what you think there, and that should give you a good indication whether or not this is something you are going to be interested in.
Yeah. All right.
That's a fair point. That is.
So, So stops. So this game is like a maybe game for you. But what about what kind of game you are definitely going to check out of these Game Awards?
It's time.
Year 6.
SEGA. Right. I've got.
Well, that was a blast from the past, wasn't it? I must admit.
I've got to keep pressing pause. By the way. Hang on. Where are we? In the trailer.
We're at the beginning.
Yeah, we're at the beginning now. Just trying
to. It did make me wonder why they haven't done this earlier.
Yeah, I was thinking IPs, exactly the same.
Those IPs are
Right, here we go. Streets of Rage. We're on at the minute.
Make that box a little bigger, because otherwise it's going to be. It looks like it's.
It's set up wrong. Sorry. That's my fault. That is.
But for those who are Sega fans, I'm surprised that they didn't go into these IPs a lot quicker. And I was like, oh, okay, why not?
They show you.
So it is good. It is good. Those IPs out there.
Shinobi, arcade machine. You can see there. Shinobi, right? And you see certain clips. I'm trying to.
So, did you realise some people have actually got all the clips of these things together, all cut down?
Oh, there we go. Jet Set Radio.
Now, this is a bit of bone of contention for me, actually.
Well, I got a DM from someone in the Sega community, and it's being believed that the Jet Set Radio and the CrazyTaxi sequels are likely the Super Games released based on the Sega website updates. Do you remember them talking about the Super Games? And it says here off the Sega Bytes website, based on the revised recruitment pages post on Reset Era. I'm not reading all of it, but it does sound like it will. Yeah, so it could be that a bit weird. Jet Set Radio and CrazyTaxi could be. I hate to say it. This isn't factually or anything. They could be games as a service elements to them, as in you can play with your friends online. Jet Set Radio and CrazyTaxi.
Well, to be honest with you, it's.
There we go.
Jet Set Radio was
this
always
looks quite well developed, doesn't it? This Jet Set Radio.
This is what's confused. This is what's got a bit of controversy for me, because one of the games I reviewed that came out this year was Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't the original composer of Jet Set Radio. He composed the music for that game you reviewed.
Yes, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. He actually lent his talent to the actual game. So some of the music that's in the actual Bomb Rush Cyberpunk game is from the original creator. Now the question is going to be is, are they bringing back some of the original creators for this, or is it a completely different team? Now to mention, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk was done by a completely different team, an Amsterdam team. But it did have one of the original composers in it, because he felt that they were meeting the same standard as the original game.
It looks nice.
And the aesthetic as well. And I tell you what, that game is superb. If you are a fan of Jet Set Radio, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk hits the aesthetics, the turns, the music, the style, everything it just hits it perfectly. It is effectively Jet Set Radio 3.0, because there has been a few Jet Set Radio games out there, to be honest. I think it's about 3 already. Now this is don't get me wrong, this is great. I really hope this is going to bring back some of the original creators, and I hope it brings back it does showcase some of the original characters in here as well. So
Luke is saying
I'm never going to say no to a more Jet Set Radio. It's just I'm just wondering, has they brought back some of the original creators for this, or is it just?
I don't know, but Luke is saying what I've just said is actually factual, that Sega came out and said it about the fact that elements
live service.
Elements of the games will be live service where you can play with your friends.
Well, as far as Luke might know, was the original game multiplayer? I didn't think it was.
No, not that. Sorry. Luke is on about something else. Sorry.
Are you talking about the original creators?
That's
Luke?
That's what he may be on about. Sorry about that. Sorry. There we go.
Back the original. Fantastic. In that case, then, that allays a lot of my fears, because one of the things that the original creators, well, let's just face it, if you could bring back the original creators in this, they're going to be the best people to get this to be, it's going to be the best people for the job. So that's fantastic. For me, that's elevated my hype for Jet Set Radio. Then in that case, it is just like, well, fantastic, because I tell you what, when I was playing Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, the music in it was superb, and it was great to have one of the original creators actually do the music for that. And you could tell there was a difference. It just elevated the game. So if they're bringing back everybody back for this, I'm even more hyped now for it, which is that's made my day. Well done. Thanks for this, Luke.
It's good to hear. Is anyone else excited for this Jet Set Radio rebirth? What in the modern world? It looks. Anyone else excited?
Yeah, I think this looks very promising. So yeah, I played the original one back in the OG Xbox days. So this one is going to be interesting project, and it looks like they have put effort on it. So I think like
there was some, what I would say, communication about the art style, but I think the art style is going to be the art style. If they've because the art style was very original from the it was very unique, from the original. And that's why I think Bomb Rush Cyberpunk played well with that, because it kind of played well into that same aesthetic. This is a much more modernized version, as you can see. Not to say that it's any less good. I'm just saying this is clearly a much more modernized version of the graphical fidelity. And so I'm kind of I think what it will do, I think it will sit well next to Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. If you wanted the original aesthetics, go and play that. If you want a sequel, a true sequel, this is going to be very well it. This is something else. I think there's enough space for everyone to kind of have their cake and eat it. If you're a Jet Set Radio fan, well, that was it, exactly that. This is much more rounded. Yes, it has got that cell shaded, but as you said, it's much more angular because it was fairly early 3Ds, and that's why I said that's why the Bomb Rush Cyberpunk one worked well, because they kept that really sharp-edged, angular, stylized for it. Where this one, as you said, it is cell shaded, but it's much more smoother, I should say, in terms of its aesthetics. And personally, I think more of it, more Jet Set is going to be good for everybody. I don't think anyone's here going, oh yeah, we can't have too much Jet Set Radio.
So, here's a question for you as well, for everyone. When the rumours was, well, basically when Sega was sending out invites to certain Twitch creators and so on, YouTubers, about about the Power Surge Sega, did anyone think there was 5 game announcements going to be coming? Because I didn't know what it was. I thought it'd be a letdown, whatever it was.
The trouble is, I think VJ the VJ will probably be the best person to answer this. I think they've done this before, have they not, VJ? Where they've put feelers out and then nothing's come of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Sega over the last decade or so, there hasn't been really anyone within the company to champion development of their own IPs. And if you look at several of their IPs, they've reluctantly licensed them out to foreign developers to varying results, commercial results. And I think that with their decision to sort of, I forgot the gentleman's name who left, who founded the Yakuza Studios, who left to work for the China-based company. He's opened up his own studio now, working for them. So I think they've just said, look, you know what, we've got the foundation now where we should actually just be designing these games and developing them and publishing them ourselves as we once used to. And so I think that with them licensing content out, with them being, because this Jet Set Radio, I don't know if it's public knowledge or not, but it's such a long time ago, so I don't think it really matters. But they definitely had several pitches and deep in discussions with other companies to produce Jet Set Radio or sequels or variations of it. So, but I don't think any of those came to fruition. I've definitely seen some pitches, that's for sure. So I think they've sort of flirted with the fact that they should license their content out for revenue and to keep their IPs, which are obviously embedded in the culture of pop or pop culture, if you prefer, and to keep them in the public domain. And I think now that we've seen a little bit of what they're trying to do or attempting to do, I don't know if these games are being developed in Japan. I think that's the first question. And secondly, if they are being developed out of house and overseas, they'll need really strong producers on there, because we've seen sort of wavering results from Square and Capcom and Square Enix.
Quick question, Vijay. If it's bringing back the original creators, I'd assume this would be in-house, wouldn't it? Because the original creators were in-house.
You're looking at the original creators, but not all of them are still there. Remember when did the original? Let's check Jet Set Radio on the Dreamcast. When did that come out? 20 years ago. So if you're a musician, then I think you're right. You know, you've still got that talent, you've still got that ability, because you see in the popular remakes that Square Enix that have put out in terms of Dragon Quest, in terms of Final Fantasy, the original composers are still there to some degree, and they've been able to sort of build on their previous works to reimagine tracks and new themes, especially for Final Fantasy VII. Remake. Uematsu did a fantastic job, you know, introducing new music into the Final Fantasy VII universe, and I think it was universally, you know, accepted and acclaimed. But as I say, I think, you know, now 20 years on, the gaming industry is much bigger than it once was. There's far more talented generalists, I would say, because in those days developers were specialists. You were either a really good coder, you were a really good rigger, you were a really good animator, or you were a really good environment artist, you were a really good level designer, etc., or a very good technical director or technical artist. So I think that now you have more so now than ever, with all the software and with all the advancements, you have very, very good generalists, and that's what studios more likely recruit. So I think, as I say to you, it's always down to the producer, how good the producer is on each of these IPs, and that they're being funded correctly. It's based on what they're expecting to do with these titles, whether they're games as a service or whether they're standalone titles, etc., the price point, and which will determine the budget and the crew and the development timeframe, and what SEGA are trying to do. But we've seen so little, it's really difficult to tell. So I didn't sort of get sort of hyped about what they showed. But I think that when you look at what they did, I haven't played it, and I know you're getting it for Christmas removal, so maybe we can chat about it once you've played it. But I don't know if anyone else on the panel has. But when the Sonic game that they reimagined and launched, which was a surprise, and how good that looks, and how positive the commercial side of it's been, and how well it's been accepted, then I think if they can maintain that quality across, and it's not easier said than done because they're very different genres and require very different skill sets, but if they can maintain that kind of quality in terms of, and the delivery in the end product, then I think that older fans and new fans that SEGA are inevitably going to capture, you know, service. But I think if Jet Set Radio was there and you three were on playing, said let's give it a go, I'd definitely be there. But it's welcome. But there was a couple of other titles, new titles that I saw at the Game Awards that have stuck with me. Since only two of them, but since that stuck with me since I saw them in terms of new IPs. And those are ones that I've got my eye on for the future. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they're doing. And this here, Streets of Rage, this looks a little bit like Virtual Fighter, like or Tekken or Street Fighter, like in a combat arena beat 'em up. I'm not sure if and the other game
that
it reminded
like an arena-based situation.
Yeah,
Shinobi was the one that actually kind of got me a little bit more excited because at least Shinobi it had a very much more Eastern art style. It broke. It looks like it's breaking from the norm.
I was just going to say that Streets. Do you remember last week, Removal? We discussed Sleeping Dogs, and you were saying it was more environment-based combat. It could very much be like that. There's a couple of screens that Mr. Stubbs has been rolling over, but it could very much be more like the environments in the combat hand-to-hand combat environments in Sleeping Dogs. It could perhaps be like that, which would also be welcome as long as it's
really good if it was a semi-open world. Sleeping Dogs, effectively, where you could basically go around with those characters. That would be a very good idea.
With the Jet Set Radio backgrounds at night.
Yeah,
Jet Set Radio environments at night time.
Yeah.
With Kiryu-san and Ichiban, the younger versions of those two turning up as bosses.
Exactly. But in terms of a complete art style change, Shinobi was the one that got me. That was like, Jesus, that's a complete and utter, because it's very much more artistic style, isn't it? It's a very much more. See, look at this one, for instance. That's just a very much more.
Which one, Shinobi?
Yeah, very much more artistic style.
I travelled about an hour, 2 hours both ways on the train, Removable, when I was a kid. Well, not a kid, but in my mid-teens or something, to pick up Super Shinobi, which I paid, I think, 50, 60 quid for, plus my train. Super Shinobi. I can still see the title screen starting. It was amazing, and the end screen, and fighting Batman and Spider-Man along the way. But that Super Shinobi was probably one of the games that I would definitely pick up, because I just remember it. And those days there weren't that many games that were released, right? I think Ghouls and Ghosts was released pretty close by Super Shinobi back then. But yeah, it was fun.
Look at the art style. Would you say the art style is? It's I would say I'm not going to lean into comic art style, because this would be actually doing it disjustice. This is a very much more.
It's on a dog now, isn't he? He's riding a dog or a wolf or something.
I thought it was. I thought it was Okami.
That's the one thing I thought for a second. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, it is, but it's not. It isn't. Well, it doesn't look like it is from this screenshot. The art style just looks superb. It just has that sort of, I would say, anime-based art style to it. But it's not. It's beyond that. It's almost like classic.
Yeah, a little bit watercolor, like Chinese style.
That's the word I'm thinking of.
Masuku's let his guard down there. I think Masuku's actually involved. He's one of the designers. World exclusive there. World exclusive.
No.
So, to me, that was probably the most, out of all of them, that was the most visually striking one. That was the one that went, like, literally my ears perked up for. It's like, oh, hang on. I mean, all of them I'm fans of, but that was just like, this looks unique. This looks like it's going above and beyond. This one looks like it's taking chances. The Shinobi one looks like it's taking chances. So I'm interested to see what it's gonna come up.
I think they're also producing games where, I hate to say this, most of these games are not going to have massive budgets, but I think they will be well-produced games. They will be.
Yeah. That's was the one thing that I was curious if VJ knows. Like, do you think that they are making these with a small team, like something like 20? If you would have to guess.
But what I would say is that there's how much is the Sonic game, and what's the scope of that game? And I think that you've got to design within a remit, and you've got to have good design. And then if everybody feels that design is what they've got to stick to, then the budget's got to be derived from that and alongside the sales and the retail price point and so on and so forth, and the popularity. So I think it's difficult to say, but I think that it's really down to Sega in terms of, look, how important is this IP? How important are these games? And why are we making it? And you can understand why they're making Sonic. You can understand why they're making Jet Set Radio. But Streets of Rage and Super Shinobi, as popular as they were, they never brought back Streets of Rage for the Saturn, or Dreamcast, did they? I may be wrong,
Saturn,
but
I think they did. Dreamcast, I don't think they did, because Saturn had the it's like a Saturn collection, I think it was.
No, I mean in terms of an IP dedicated, a version of the game dedicated for that system, right? Not in terms.
I don't think they did. No, it doesn't ring a bell.
And Golden Axe is the other one. So I think that they kind of should understand, like, what modern gamers want. And I think, to answer your question, Masuko, if they give it the same, forget the budget, if they give it the same care and attention and strive for the quality that they produce for Sonic, then definitely we're in for a treat. But if they try to cut corners, if they try to just bring out a game to publish it and sell it based on the back of nostalgia and the fact that they can turn a profit, then there's a problem. And the thing is, we just don't know, and that's why I'm kind of like removable.
Well, to be honest with you, they should know this by now, because of, as you rightly said, look at Sonic.
Yeah, no, yeah, but what it is,
I'm just like thinking, like we say, like if we think about like Vanillaware, they make like incredibly high quality games, and that team is not huge, right?
No, it's not.
That's the thing. If you've got a good team, you don't necessarily need huge budgets to produce. And this is what the indie game scene is all about. You don't necessarily need to have a huge team to produce high quality games. It's literally about the team itself. But in terms of Sonic, perfect example was VJ. Is look at how many crashes of Sonic they have made, how many attempts they've made at Sonic, and it has flopped badly.
Yeah,
and because they didn't give it the due care and attention it deserved. Now, I played the latest one. Go on.
I was going to say, the only time it's ever had any success is either at their theme parks and hotels, or when it's coupled with Mario in the Olympics.
Exactly.
And the thing is, they know if it hits, it's a money spinner for them. But those games aren't small budgets either. They've had big budgets. And as I say to you, to produce 5 games, there is no way that every single one of those will be a hit. Or there's going to be a couple of disappointments in there. It's just the way things are, right? I mean, you'd have to be a gambling man to say, very heavy gambling man to say they'll all be hits. But the thing is, that's why I kind of when I saw this, I kind of skipped over it. I didn't feel like getting it romanticizing with these games, because I love them in their original forms, and I don't know if they'll be able to capture.
You don't want nostalgia to taint your glasses.
Well, it's difficult. For lightning to strike twice is very, very difficult. So that's why there was. I focused on a couple of the new IPs that were shown at the Game Awards, which were quite far more intriguing.
A perfect example is look how many attempts they've tried with Sonic to try and capture that lightning in a bottle. Now, I played the latest one, and it felt nostalgic for me. It finally felt like a Sonic game. That's just my interpretation of it. As an old school Sega Sonic fan, that doesn't mean that translates well to a new audience. It translates well to me, because I'm a Sega fan. I've got that nostalgia, and to me it brought back a lot of the stuff that I wanted me personally for it to bring back. That doesn't mean that translates well to the newer audience with their new tastes and different tastes, and that's a thing they've got to try and balance as well. So whilst it may have been perfect for me, I mean, I don't know the sales of it. I think, to be honest with you, even if we did know the sales of it, I think you'd probably have to wait until after Christmas, because Christmas is when generally those sales will probably go up. But for me,
Sorry, I was just going to say, Movil, just now that, okay, I didn't pay attention to this at the show, but now that I've paid closer to attention to this, I can guarantee you that some of those trailers or snippets of those games that we've seen are internal concept trailers for greenlit purposes. Then they're not final production. They're not final production of the game or development of the game. I would almost put my life on it.
You think looking this is like shareholders? Shareholders. I'm trying to think of the wording now. What is it where you normally just pass give it to shareholders and say, "Look, this is what we're trying to be. This is what we're aiming for."
I mean, if they do have to sort of bow to shareholders, but I'd say these are trailers that are produced as concept trailers for the green light purpose for all the stakeholders within Sega, right? Whether it's development, budget, sign off, and all that sort of stuff. So I think they would have said, they wouldn't have said, "Oh, go and make Golden Axe." They would have said, "Listen, look, if we're going to make Golden Axe, we're going to make Super Shinobi, we're going to make XYZ, can you go away and put some internal concept trailers together?" So they've put something together, 5, 10, 5, not really, they're probably about 90 seconds each. And I don't think that this is representative of the final product, but so expect it to be different, hopefully better. But if they've greenlit all 5, then obviously they've seen something, or they're happy with the risk that they're taking.
And more, so maybe there's others in the works that we don't know.
I do believe there's more. I believe there's one. I believe Virtual Fighter's coming back.
No, don't be silly. Virtual Fighter's been remade so many times. Why would they want to remake it?
I believe it was discussed. Not at the show, but it's been discussed, and Sega mentioned it. They're not
unless
sure.
They're releasing it.
Yeah,
they're releasing it under a different commercial, and under a different commercial guise.
They're not sure how to tackle it. They're not sure how to bring it to the market.
I don't think it is worth retackling because it's been remade. Virtual Fighter remakes galore. I mean, anyone thinking that it'd be remade, I'd have a real question about it. But
most of them are just remasters of the old ones for the classic consoles. They're not new versions.
Well, Virtual Fighter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are by de facto better version of their previous version on new systems, right? So they're not being remade. They're actually reimagining the games on new systems. But I commercially, I can't see them reintroducing another version of Virtua Fighter 6. One, I think it would come to...
I would like to see Virtua Fighter back.
Or another fighting game at the moment. And Street Fighter, for that matter.
I would love to see it come back. Then give it a go. I would. What the hell? I know.
Well, Sega has enough IPs to keep.
Well, these people can't just keep saying it's just Yakuza and Persona, because that's basically their top IP at the minute. It's Yakuza and Persona, and I thought the way they were going to release games is just get people to go into the arcades of Yakuza, because you can play in Yakuza Like a Dragon, you can play Virtual Fighter in the arcades in that game. But
that could be the tester of the waters. That could be the water tester. You could easily.
They've proved very popular. They have. People spend a lot of time in their arcades.
What the audience wants by doing that. Look at Sega Rally. In the new one. Is it Sega Rally? No, it's what's it called?
Don't get the Sega fans started. Talking about a Sega Rally coming back. Now that's one they really would love.
What was the one? It is. Oh my god, it's frustrating now. It's. That's frustrated the hell out of me now. It's not Sega Rally. It's the other one, Daytona. That's it, indeed, Daytona. Look how that is being put into the Yakuza game. Is
it? Oh, really? Which game's this in?
It's the second one.
In the very it's the latest one, isn't it? The one that's not the Japanese one. The very latest.
The man who erased his name.
Yes.
Wow. Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
It's Daytona. I think it was the second game that they put on the virtual.
Yeah. And I think Digital Foundry did a quick view on it, and they tested it against one of the latest emulators as well. And they said it was nigh on close to being perfection. But the latest emulator currently does. Apparently, I think it's like, if I remember correctly, is like there's a little bit of fuzziness and less fuzziness on the emulator versus their own specific version within the game. But they said, it's Daytona is actually in there.
Nice.
But yeah, I would. To be honest, it's one of those things. They've got enough IPs there to keep going for quite a while. To be honest with you, there is one game I really would like to see remade, and that would be, oh my god, I had it in my head then. Altered Beast. Altered Beast could easily be done for the modern world. You know, I would love to see a brand new Altered Beast reimagining of it. You know, it was
still
one
annoyed
of
that they're
the first
releasing
games that got me into Sega. So I'm sure VJ's gone back to it and completed it millions of times, haven't you, VJ?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just you mentioned Altered Beast, and that's the game I got with my Mega Drive, a Japanese version.
Nice.
But
Exactly.
I remember
it was the game that you
I-
got with your Mega Drive. Yes, it was. It was the very one
Yeah.
game that came with your Mega Drive, and it was the one game because you never, because we couldn't afford lots of games back then. Your parents were like, you got a game with it, you're not having anything else.
VJ definitely could.
I just sorry, Mr. Stubbs. I remember when I went to the arcade and eSWAT had first come out. Blue Trooper and Red Trooper. And when it came out on the Mega Drive, I'd never forgiven Sega for making it single player on home console. So if they do revisit eSWAT, make sure it's 2-player for home console now. Because in the arcades it was 2-player, and when it came out the home versions, I was so disappointed it was single player.
That's because it was the actual. It was. I think it was the they couldn't do it in 2-player, could they? It was it was.
But that was like, oh wow, I could play with my brother, and but anyway.
I remember. Do you know one thing that got me when I realised I could play something in my house that I would always play in the arcade, and that was Time Cop. With the actual, with the actual light gun, I've actually still got the Time Cop, and I've still got the light gun in its box original. And I tell you what, and I just loved the pedal and the light gun, where you just like use your pedal to like put yourself behind the screen, basically hide and then shoot. It was my go-to game back in the day.
See, I
Jesus,
remember
we really are bringing back some nostalgia on this show, aren't we, today?
I remember Virtual Cop. I remember Time Crisis.
Is it Virtual Cop? Sorry, Virtual Cop. I've mixed the two. It's Virtual Cop.
Remember Time Cop. Time Cop reminds me of the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, no, I've mixed the two. Time Crisis and
no, you were silly. You were watching one and playing the other at the same time.
It's the stout. I'm going to blame it on the stout, not my brain. Yes, it was Virtual Cop. Virtual Cop. That was my god. That was so good.
It was brilliant. Virtual Cop. Mr. Stubbs, you must have played Virtual Cop or Samba de Amigo.
No. I've got a Dreamcast. So I'm talking about probably next year. I'll probably get one of them, install one of them hard drives so you can have all your games on a Dreamcast. That's what most people do now. Install the hard drives on the Dreamcast with all the original games. Because some of the games. Oh, really? Yeah, did you know that? It's a big thing on Dreamcast. People get the old Dreamcast and install. There's like hard drives you can buy with all the games, all the old games. Because some of these games are going for £500 for the disc now. Some of these prices are, and also the
hard drives are full of emulators. Basically,
the Sega community as well. I've got people within the community that are hobbyists, but they're like developers. And you can actually download new versions of games that have had the bugs taken out, and better
access cheats, upgraded scalings, frame skips.
The Sega community is quite big. I think that's what I'll do next year. I'll look at getting a hard drive put in, because I've got a few games on my Sega Dreamcast, just not that many. But with that, you can play basically anything. You can. Same with Saturn. I think Daz has got. Can't remember where he's gone. Daz has got. He's big into his Saturn and retro, really. With Sega Rally.
I think what Stubbs is going to do. He's going to install it on the hard drive. He's going to play every single tutorial.
Well, Sega Rally is actually on PC. It's someone's made a version. It's in 60 frames per second. All the bugs are. I haven't got it, and you can play it through the PC as well. you can. But this, I just thought it was good that what Sega doing, because I didn't expect this when I heard what Sega were doing. I thought, oh, we're just going to get a new Yakuza announcement, are we, or some new game? But I did not.
That's it. I agree with Indy here. You've got to change your name. That is it. Well done, Indy.
I have got well past Yakuza Like a Dragon tutorial.
No,
well
that is
past.
it. That is the perfect name for Stubbs. That's it. Yeah, that's what you need to turn yourself into for like the next year. Your name is going to be the Tutorial Gamer, and you are going to just basically go through and do the tutorial for every game.
I forgot to say, Graphic God.
Perfect.
If he's still here, thanks for popping in, mate. And Geeks Gods, who's just popped in. Yeah, Tutorial Gamer. Yeah. No, I'm not changing
I could just say the channel, mate. It would
just
be
call
in the
myself
thousands.
Stubbs. Just call myself Stubbs.
It could be in the thousands, mate. You'll be up next to PewDiePie. Honestly, by the end of the next year, if you did that.
No chance.
Yep. You could be the next PewDiePie.
Oh, sorry, shout outs to God's Geeks. Indy calling me out there. Well done, Indy. But yeah, well, just like Removable, I'm not on the stout. I'm on the Strong Bro Dark Fruit at the minute.
Right.
I was just going to say, when you see some of these trailers, do you think any of these games would make it to coin-op? Or you think it'll just all come straight to console?
Straight to console.
Yeah, straight to console.
I'm just having a look at Gold Max there.
Oh yeah, that one looks good. That does.
No, I know. No, it's just CrazyTaxi as well. I don't know. Maybe not overseas, but definitely. I'd hope that
CrazyTaxi's got a lot of potential, because could you ever drive a police car in the original CrazyTaxi?
No, I don't mean in terms of. I mean just like in some of the Sega, not Sega arcades, but on some of their. It would just be nice to play that game if it's possible in an arcade.
See CrazyTaxi it is arcade potentially.
And
but the question I would say is,
I don't know. They might do with Sega, because Sega have still got a lot of arcade cabinets, especially.
Yeah, but they won't do it. They won't do it over here. It'll be completely.
There's a lot of Sega cabinets in the UK.
Maybe
Sega Rally,
Japan,
all sorts.
It'll be based in Japan. It'll be a Japan-based arcade system.
I would say Japan/Asia, if I may go.
Yes,
I
do not think.
You cut out, VJ.
It'll be kept well and truly in the East.
Hello, PJ. What's going on? I think.
Are we just being cut out because we're annoying?
I'm not doing that. I don't know what's going on.
Just for those who have been in the chat for a little bit, he did mess around with the settings again.
Oh, don't tell Indy that.
I didn't say that. You're going to get him into right trouble.
I don't know what happened.
But anyway, we've had another Sega, because I know that VJ has mentioned it twice, at least 3 times so far, that he has got 2 IPs that he was looking forward to. So, first VJ and then Masuku. VJ, what were the 2 IPs that you were looking forward to?
I think you know this already, Removable, because you're a Mass Effect guru, right? So Exodus really caught my attention. I don't know what kind of game. Well, I got an idea, but I don't know what the product's going to be like. But that really stayed with me. And the other one that stayed with me, and I'd be amiss not to mention it, especially with Indy in the chat, was No Rest for the Wicked. There was one other.
I have that trailer.
But there was one other.
There we go. I have that trailer with Jeff's amazing trailers he's cut up.
And there was one other Removable, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called. There was a third game, but those 2, I would say, really did capture me. The others.
What about? Could you remember the actual trailer?
No, I'd probably have to. Well, obviously, it didn't stay with me enough for me to remember it for the show.
Bones?
Those 2. Sorry?
Skull and Bones?
No. No, nothing like that. No, I think it was a single player game probably, but that's okay. That's okay. Maybe Masuko or Mr. Stubbs might mention those games, but definitely Exodus and No Rest for the Wicked. I think those showed a really, really, really good promise, especially No Rest for the Wicked, especially with the gameplay they showed. The other, I might be getting confused with the other one that we've already seen, which was Dragon's Dogma 2, which is coming out in March. But yeah, but that was me. So, Masuko, perhaps.
I must admit, this does look good.
Yeah, I like. Maybe none of you have played this, but there was one sequel for one puzzle game that I really like called World of Goo Second.
Hang on, I have that trailer. I'm sure I have it.
Yeah, so actually, I played that game second time this year, and that's really fun game. It has this a little bit like Monty Python kind of humor. It has this kind of almost like intelligent blobs that are like building bridges and doing all sorts of other physics-based puzzles. So it's the game design is really nice, and the story is told in this kind of humorous way that has this kind of reminds me of some of those cartoons like 70s 80s with the kind of like the kind of anti-capitalist theme to it. So I really enjoyed the first game, like in many aspects, and the trailer on the World of Goo 2, it looked to be very similar like the first one. So I think that's
Do we have a trailer for the
when...
game? Do we have a trailer, Mr. Stubbs, for the game that
I think he's still looking for it.
Our guest is mentioning. Sorry, please continue, Mr. Goo.
Yeah. So that one was really surprise for me, because the developers were even joking them by themselves in the trailer that now there is a second one coming actually, and this kind of physics-based puzzle games are not the easiest kind of to develop. It's like it takes, or at least when I'm looking at that kind of games, it takes really like that you have to have good basic understanding of the physics, and then still making it.
You've got to understand the physical elements and how they play off each other. How does wind and water play well with each other? How
there is
into that?
there
how
are
does something
there is some liquid physics, at least in the first one also, and it's like not just that the technical aspect is okay, but it has to be like interesting game for most people. Like it cannot go to the extremes of too hard. But there is like this kind of.
Actually, that reminds me of a. Oh, hello. There it is.
Yeah,
full screen.
Here it
You've
is.
got the full screen version. See?
Yeah, that's good. So you can see that there is like building bridges, towers, and there's this kind of liquid puzzles also, and of course there is different kind of these kind of intelligent blobs that you are controlling and
Sorry,
doing.
Sorry, busty people's ears out there.
Yeah.
A second.
So
Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember? And this was probably about the 360 days. There was a game that was used water physics, and you basically controlled the ground to use water to. You had like little islanders. You had little basically you had to create islands and get them to your little basically little islanders to where they were going use water-based physics. It was around the 360s days, and this looks very similar to that, where it's using physical-based elements to kind of manipulate the surroundings to get where you need to be.
Yeah, and I just remembered one thing, like, this is one of those games that when you fail, normally the the failure, the catastrophe after building something, it looks pretty funny. Like, it's the kind of game that is perfect for streaming, because you can really like laugh at yourself when it all goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that this is a good game. The first game is really old, probably more than a decade old, and probably you can get it super cheap. Yeah. And what about Stubbs? Do you have
is that the only game? Is it the only game, Masuko? No others?
No, I have a couple of. I was of course I'm interested. Life is Strange developers' new game called Lost Records.
Oh yes.
So that one is definitely one that I'm interested. It looked like like this kind of 80s or I think they said 90s kids doing a band practice, and then they are going for some supernatural exploration, at least.
I must have missed it then, because I was like, I'm trying to think of it and I can't think of it now.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't super long trailer. It was.
Stubbs has got it, but he hasn't.
I haven't.
No, I remember the trailer very well.
I'm not going to blast people's ears out this by doing it. Oh, I didn't get that trailer. I didn't.
Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, it's like very much like Life is Strange, like similar like these kind of themes and young kids, and what the trailer is showing, that actually there might be also that they are going from the 90s to present day, and the kids are older, they're grown-ups at that moment, and probably they are going to do in this time period also. So maybe it's going to be dual time period game.
Yeah,
so that would be something
back from the 70s or 80s, then flicking it forward to the 90s. And
I mean, I kind of like that premise without even knowing much about the game. Well, I kind of find that quite intriguing. But the world of Goo,
because if you do something in the past, will it manipulate something in the future?
It's just a game that doesn't rely on mobile phones to tell a story.
Yeah,
like chess.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Checkers.
Excellent thing, Vijay. that thing should be patented. Yeah.
I don't know if this is true or not, and I don't know the release date of this PSP game, but this Goo game reminds me of Patapon a little. I don't know why. Maybe they're completely different games. But just off the top of my head, it reminds me of Patapon on PSP.
Yeah. Those were really fun also. Yeah. They had the rhythm aspect to them.
Katamari Damacy.
Yeah. Talking about the music games, did you guys see the Harmonium, the musical game trailer?
No, I didn't.
I missed this trailer for sure.
Yeah, that one looked like to be like that looked like a game that I could play with my kids. So it looked like very much like Pixar animation style, and the story was like hearing impaired kid and going into this kind of musical wonderland and doing this hand signs while she's talking. So that was something different. Yeah. And it looked like very much like a high quality game, but yeah, it's like it was very much like this kind of trailer that it didn't tell that much about the real game, but the premise looked good and the animation quality looked like really good.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that would end up to be a good game to check out with the kids.
Yeah, always good to have something that's going to end up basically working well.
Yeah. So those.
Yeah, we've got VJ, we got Misuko, Stubbsy Bubsy.
Well, I didn't see enough tutorials, really. I mean, they need to show you the tutorials.
Honest, every game is a tutorial for you, my friend.
They need to show the tutorials first. So
you're like the more innocent version of the completionist.
So
I mean, a more limited version. A more limited version of the completionist.
I'm just wondering if anyone got that joke at all.
I did have a Lost Records trailer. What am I on about? It's here. See what I mean? That there should be edited
They didn't,
better.
thank God. Phew.
There you go. Lost Records is here.
Stubbs, have you been playing these Life is Strange games?
I have got them. As you can tell, probably only played the tutorial.
No, I don't think they have tutorial.
No, well, the first level probably.
Well, that is technically the tutorial, so there you go. You know, yeah.
I think that did look good.
There was one in Game Pass, Masuko, that I played and finished, but
True Colors, right?
You're on about True Colors. I completed.
I don't know. I'm not sure, nice. But it's just that the visual enhancement in this game compared to that, it's a huge upgrade in terms of what they're achieving now in comparison.
Yeah.
So I like the look of that. I also like the look of.
And I what do you say, Vijay? Like what I like this developer that they really put effort in this building the environment where the characters are like living it because it's like it's the kind of like rare and a little bit difficult for me to be like seeing this kind of environments that look like believable.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, they are like they are normally like small towns that they are showing in their games, and they look like believable. And it's not that easy to pull off, or at least I haven't seen that many examples where it really works out well. That you can really be transported into this kind of small village environment, and it looks like convincing.
Oh yeah. What about this one? Apparently this is the Spider-Man killer.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, this one looks really good, despite the fact that all the idiots online have just arguing.
How can anyone say this one looks good when we just saw 5 seconds of a trailer? And to be honest with you, Dishonored and Deathloop. Okay, Dishonored, really good. Deathloop, not so good. So already that's a 50-50 chance there.
This looks good.
This is,
but
it's a trailer. It's going to look good.
People just arguing over, is it going to be an Xbox or not? Do you know what I mean? It's silly. These people are arguing over.
To be fair to Stubbs, I think what he's saying is saying, look, the premise and the promise is there, but how it translates into a game is yet to be deemed, yet to be judged, right? But other than that, it's really difficult to say. Right?
It is.
You're saying, obviously, based on the studio's recent history, it's difficult to predict how this trailer translates into a game. And by their own admission, they're only just starting development on the game.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, as I said, it had Dishonored and Deathloop. Some people, Deathloop, I just couldn't get on with. It was just like, no, it wasn't a game for me whatsoever. Dishonored, I really got on well with. I really enjoyed Dishonored. So already this tells me that, to me at least, this is a 50-50 studio.
Yeah, especially this is their first foray into a third-person action adventure, right?
Yes,
and he's
taking
a well-known character, and if they don't do it right, they come back to bite them.
Light No Fire looks good as well. I'm really not prepared with these trailers on screen, am I? So that's a bit better.
You're doing a wonderful job. Don't worry.
I'm terrible job.
Actually, this looks like No Man's Sky.
Removal. This was the other one that I liked the premise of. So I know it's No Man's Sky, but this was the other game I was thinking of.
This is No Man's Sky on just one planet, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It was just the other game that I thought, just mentioned that it was the other game that I was thinking of.
Yeah. Okay. I can see the premise, but he does have a knack for over promising and not delivering. But then again, he is the studio that bucked the trend and turned a game that failed to deliver that has consistently delivered afterwards. So if there is one person who, if it goes wrong, will make it right, this is the person to kind of have it.
I have to ask you a question because you're a Monster Hunter guru, right? So imagine that this trailer was shown and it had a Monster Hunter, without all the other bits and bobs, but the main stuff in this. If this had Monster Hunter 5, I thought as a trailer, this, when I saw Monster Hunter Wilds, if that logo was plastered onto this trailer, it would have been far more impressive because I was not impressed with the Monster Hunter Wilds trailer. But this looks like Monster Hunter.
I think the Monster Hunter Wilds trailer is trying not to overpromise. I think because I think some of the Monster Hunter games have tapered a little bit. Like Monster Hunter World was my very first ever Monster Hunter World game, and that just hit it perfectly. I played that to death, and then the subsequent elements to that, I kind of tapered off with it. And I found that some of the games, the set of the games after that, was almost like a downturn of the game's fidelity and game's gameplay. So for me at least, it kind of put me, I'm 50-50. So I agree with you that it is a little bit disappointing. Again, just as I said, the developer here, he likes to overpromise, but you can't argue that when he does overpromise, he will get there eventually, and he then goes above and beyond. So to be honest with you, I'm more likely to say this is something that will probably end up coming to fruition to his overall intent.
I was going to say, Remover, he is a massive Monster Hunter fan, this guy.
He is, yes.
This should have had the Monster Hunter logo on the end of it.
It's one of those things I'm holding off until I see more of it, because I remember being bitten by No Man's Sky, and
it looks really nice. Yeah.
It does look really nice, but
the irony is, if this did have Monster Hunter on it, you wouldn't be doubting them delivering this because it's Capcom.
Exactly. I will put one game up to make VJ and Luke Steele happy. Final Fantasy Rebirth. There we go. There we go. Just to make you happy, VJ and Luke Steele. Showing Final Fantasy.
VJ's got that already. He's already downloaded it.
I wish I could. Yeah, end of February, right?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, has the release date stayed the same?
February the 28th, I think, or something like that. February 29th, sorry.
One thing that I noticed that they pushed that Atlas game to the fall, and that was good choice because first they were like competing against like a dragon.
You're on about Persona, aren't you? Persona 3?
No, it's that
the new Atlas game, right?
Yeah, new Atlas game.
Yeah, it's Persona 3. It's not Yakuza.
No, not Persona 3. It's not Persona 3 he's talking about. It's a different game that Atlas are releasing.
Well, Yakuza. They're making a Yakuza game. Atlas are.
No. Atlas are making a new IP based on the game systems of Persona, but it's not called Persona. It's a new IP.
I have got the trailer. I know what that is. It's a metamorpho. This one,
metaphor. Look what Leak says.
Is that the one, Masuko? Is that the one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, metaphor. Yeah,
this looks outstanding. This one with Valentine and and Sid being revealed, I think, for the first time in this trailer. So
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to Final Fantasy. Hopefully, I'd finish Divinity's Original Sin by then. I'm about 425 hours into that game.
Yeah, I have heard that those Divinity games are really meaty games. Yeah.
Fine. Is this the one, Masuko?
Yeah. This is the one. Yeah. So I'm happy that they this one is coming in the fall, so it's not like in the springtime when there's so many JRPG games coming out. It's like crazy how much is coming out.
I can see myself playing this.
Yeah, it looks really good. Removable. It's like right up your street, really. I think.
Well, you know, I'm a fan of Japanese art styles.
Well, he's not reviewing games, though. He is, yes.
No, but Removable. If there's a game that he likes, he will find and make the time to play it, right, and play it comprehensively. But he picks and chooses his games that he wants to play because he knows that it's going to be an investment. But he
let the developers know that you want to play this, so I'll get him to drop you a review code.
Yeah, that'd be great. Much appreciated. But the trouble is, games like these, it is the investment. It's a bit like, as you said, Yakuza is like a dragon. It is an investment.
It is a big
It
investment.
is. You just and so during that time, I'm having to either really rush through it or not fully take it in, and I don't want to do that. I want to experience it fully. It's like when I was playing Elden Ring with VJ, I took my time to soak it up and take it. But even with VJ, I tell you, he was getting through that game at twice the rate that I was, and it's just simply because I didn't have the time to consistently play it on a regular basis. I think you completed about a month before we started at the same time together, and he completed it about a month before I did.
Just got quick to say hi to BMG. Thanks for popping in while you're at work. I know you're a busy man, but hope you're doing well, mate. And I'll see you soon.
I was just going to say, it was like Elden Ring. I was playing it, and I wasn't too sure whether we got to the second area after Stormveil, whether I was going to continue, and then I started to look at the map a little bit differently. Started to make sort of more detailed notes, and then suddenly something clicked, and I couldn't stop playing it. And the same thing with Divinity Original Sin. When I was looking at it originally to take it on, 200 hours seemed to be all the time you need to see everything in the game. But there's aspects. It's such a wonderful game. For me personally, it's probably one of the best games I've played in the last 10 years of all the games I can recall. But it's the fact that I put 200 hours aside for it, and I found that there was so much to the game that's not available. The information is just not available online, that I ended up doing loads of my own experimentation just to figure out how the game works and how it's put together and all the stuff, all the questions that aren't. Is this Gear 6? All the games that aren't answered, all the questions that aren't answered, and I just don't see any end to Divinity Original Sin for myself. Maybe
you need to get Baldur's Gate 3 then, does it?
No, I saw Baldur's Gate 3 and I've seen a lot of discussions, and Mr. Stubbs knows my nephew's PC gamer, so Starfield and Baldur's Gate. We've had lots and lots of discussions. I go there and I don't play on the PC. I sort of just demo it like Stubbs does with video games, and I'm probably not going to be invited back onto the show ever again, probably. But...
Tutorial, VJ, get it right.
Tutorial,
tutorial. I was just trying to pay you a compliment. Tutorial just seemed a bit too, affront, too much of an affront, really. But anyway, so Baldur's Gate, I kind of see the visuals, but I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but I'll put it bluntly. It's not Divinity. It is a different game. But even though structurally it looks similar, they're not. Even the combat systems are different. But it just looks like a little bit of a sickly game for sick people for me, and perhaps that's why it's one game of the year, because there's not much difference between the living and the dead in this world. But yeah, no, I don't think Baldur's Gate is for me. I'm probably gonna. I know that Divinity 3 is the one that they're working on next, so I'll just wait for that. Especially with, like Masuko said, there's so many games. Well, in Game Pass that I want to play, and the first quarter of next year is super busy.
Well, let's hope they put Divinity 2 on Game Pass.
I think it's been on. Game Pass.
I think it has. I think it is on Game Pass. Is it not?
No, it's not on Game Pass. It's been on Game Pass. The other game I just bought, actually, there is a game I just bought instead of after I had a good look at Baldur's Gate 3 was. By all accounts, the best CRPG for most, and I really like the look of it. It's Pathfinder, the Wrath of the Righteous, and for many, it's better than I picked it up for $10 on a sale on PlayStation. Can you believe that? And it's like $60 otherwise, or $50. But it's better than for most. It seems to be a better game than Divinity Original Sin 2, which is really hard to believe. And for $10, I'm willing to pay the price to find out.
There's another one I was looking at, and it's actually a demo on the Xbox. And it's called oh god, this is gonna frustrate. I keep getting bloody names wrong. It's King Arthur. I can't think of what it's called. It's King Arthur. That's frustration me. The demo's out effectively now on Xbox, and it's a bit like, the best way to describe it's a bit like it's a darkened version of the King Arthur storyline, but it's in the same premise as like Baldur's Gate 3, and it's very dark. So. It looks well. I played the demo of it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really quite fun." And I'll try and drop a few screenshots and gameplays. But that's another one that you might be interested in, VJ. It's called it's King Arthur. And I can't believe the bloody what it's called. What is it called? That's going to really annoy the hell out of me now. Someone will be able to find it out. It's in the actual. It's actually in the demos as we speak now, but it starts off with King Arthur, and it's based on the King Arthur storyline. But it's a twisted tale. It's a twisted take on it, where the heroes are no longer heroes; they're the villains, and the villains have now become the heroes. And it's very much a darkened version of it.
Isn't that the premise for the Suicide Squad?
Technically speaking, yes, it is. But this is a very much more dark tale to it. It is very, very dark. So it's one of those ones that I think I really liked it. I really enjoyed with the demo of it, and that's one I'd recommend you try. VJ, it's only a demo. You could probably you only play like 1 or 2 levels. See if you like that. Gives you the basics.
Let me know if you know the name. Let me know what the name is. I'll have a look at it. But I think after Divinity, I might have to go into cryogenic status for a little while to get away from video games. Because that's all I played. That's all I play. In 2 months, I haven't even turned on my Xbox.
Fair enough.
Other than to collect some points.
It is really frustrating. It's called King Arthur, and I can't think of what the bloody hell it is.
This game on screen looks good. Utros. I'm probably saying it wrong. Ultros. I'm probably butchering it. Very good art style. I like the look of it. Comes out in February next year. Indie Gamer's done a video on this, but it looks
King
nice.
King Arthur Knight's Tale, it's called. VJ.
King Arthur Knight's Tale. Why do I remember that Knight's Tale?
It's been out on PC apparently for about a year, and it's now coming to console in February or March. But with the new DLC
King
as
Arthur,
well.
what
And
did you say?
King Arthur Knight's Tale.
King.
I think I might. I think you know what. The reason why it might ring a bell because I may have seen it in in some of these.
This must be a very good game because Steam users, they don't hold back. It's got mostly positive review recently. It's got very positive reviews. 4,793. Looks to be a good game. It's $37.99 on PC. It looks to be good by all accounts on the PC. They're in the new free season. It's patch 2.0 on PC. It gets a good rating on Steam. The PC players don't hold back. But your game's crap, they'll tell you.
Yeah, really exactly. Will. Yeah, no, I played the demo. Is out now. So
turn-based game. It's a turn-based game. Just pointing that out. It's dark fantasy.
It's basically it's a bit like I'd say it's a bit like Baldur's Gate, but it is a bit like Baldur's Gate from what I've seen, and it's got a very dark storyline. I mean, it's got a very twisted storyline based on your traditional King Arthur characters. So all the characters are there from the original legend, but there's very much a dark version of them. So things are much more twisted and broken. And I just looked like at that, and I was just like, wow, this just looks just right up my alley in terms of a twisted storyline in terms of that, and just the way that it is literally you the things have switched. Yeah, I'd, if you're looking at it, that is out now. As I said, it's on the demo's out now. I don't know how long it is for, but what I have found is that if you download the demos, you actually get to keep them. And also, one thing I didn't appreciate is that sometimes demos are updated. They won't tell you with new content.
I will download this to give it a go for the tutorial. So I can tell people.
Well, it's a tactical game. I don't think you like tactical games. You didn't like tactical Gears, so
Gears,
I don't
Gears
tactics. Yeah,
Gears Tactics piss me off. Yeah, because I don't like that kind of game. It's too slowed for me. It is.
Yeah, this. I think this will be too slow for you again because it is very.
You won't see another Gears Tactics. I'll be shocked if you see another Gears Tactics. I don't think it did very well.
I don't think they sold the premise of that very well.
But then, it's good to try something new, isn't it? Really, give it a go.
Yes, it always does.
I did give it a go. I tried to play it.
It's another one that's pretty good, which is not tactical. It is slightly tactical, but it's a little bit lighter-hearted. But it's called Howl. For those who followed me on Twitter or X, you would have seen some of the actual gameplay I posted on there. It's called Howl. There's a demo of that, and it feels like it's a take of Little Red Riding Hood, but it's not. It's very much a different. I can't remember what the actual legend it's taked on, but it's just basically a deaf girl who is trying to put down wolves and werewolves and stuff. And it's very much a little tactical based game as well. And it's got a very beautiful little art style in it. So that's another one if you can be interested in. That's also on demos at the moment.
I have no idea what these games are.
What, Howl?
No, I kind of got, you know me, I kind of got a list of games I'm going to play. It's not very big, but I'm just going to go like, I try not to get distracted unless there's something, something outstanding. But
yeah, if for you, VJ, knowing slightly what you'd probably push, I would probably go for King Arthur Knight's Tale. See what you think about that rather than Howl. Howl is a much more lighter version, much more easy access to the tactical genre. I think that's probably better for Stubbs.
Maybe.
Yeah,
If you want to watch Virtual Fighter 2 on screen now, people, this is me. I'm absolutely rubbish on this on Xbox, but this is me playing it. Just thought I'd tell you.
Is this the tutorial?
Yeah, probably.
Is Misuko still with us?
He is. Are you still there, Masuka?
I am here very much. I am listening what you guys are talking about. But
Complete
yeah.
nonsense. It's complete nonsense most of the time, Masuko. You're not missing much.
I reckon I'm going to wrap it up now because we've had a fun show. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Masuku. As I know it's a midnight now over where you are. So I appreciate you coming. Or is it 1?
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Sorry, it's 2 hours ahead. Sorry. But yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. I really appreciate that.
It was a lot of fun.
It was fun
and
to have you back on.
It's good to catch up what you guys have been up to. So it's great. And I hope that you guys will have enough time to game and that it's not going to be too busy in this Christmas season for you guys.
Hopefully not.
My friend.
Hopefully not. Yeah, and the same for you. Will you be eating your reindeer or will you be eating turkey Christmas Day?
No. Normally it's like it's like this kind of big pork ham. So this kind of 5 kilos thing that we put to the oven and let it stay there like 12 hours. So it's like super juicy.
Wow. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm round Masuku's this Christmas.
Welcome.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, I hope you have a good Christmas, Masuku, definitely. I hope you play loads of games.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell people where they... Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, this one is going to be the last episode for the year, or are you still going to have one next week, or?
I'm still doing a podcast next week, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's one of the last
We're
ones.
not dying yet. We're not getting out yet. No.
It's one of the last ones. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on X Mexico_1984, and you can find me here in the chat. I will be most of the times here if I'm not like incapacitated.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, Masuko. Really appreciate that. Removable Sanity, thanks for coming on.
Hello. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for having me. It was a great time and a great chat again. Again, it's lovely to have Masuku on. We always enjoy Masuku on. He provides us a very much more positive and rounded advice and knowledge to the much more probably cynical and just elongated conversations that me and VJ do.
I mean, the jaded crap we put out.
Oh, well, I don't want to say it, but you know.
I
we
think
only
you
do
guys,
it to make Masuko
always
are
bringing a lot of levity to their show. So yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
you bring the smile, we bring the grimace and the cynicism, and Stubbs brings the tutorials.
Yes.
And for those who kind of wish to even bother looking at me or listen to anything else I say, I mean, Christ, why would you? You know, you've just had about 2 hours worth of me ranting on here. You can find me on X, Minds, Rumble, and the Xbox itself under the name Removable Sanity.
Thanks for coming back on, Removable. What did he? Stuttered my words there.
He nearly called you tutorial.
Tutorial Sanity.
I've heard it that much in this show. It's all good fun. And VJ,
hello.
Thanks for coming on. Hope you play loads of tutorials.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Divinity needs a tutorial. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go back.
No, it probably does. It's probably such a vast game. It probably does. Or has it got one?
No, it's an incredible. I played, as I said, I played a lot of games over the last 10 years, even this year. But I thought Lies of P probably would have been, one of the great surprises for this year. But Divinity 2's turned out to be, a phenomenal game. I just can't stop playing. It stopped me from playing anything else. But I'm going to try and finish that before the end of the year if I can. But it's a busy time of year for everybody, I guess. But anyway, thanks for me having me back on the show. And probably, what is it? Are we doing a show next week, are we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. But then the following week it's the 25th, and then the following week it's the 1st.
Yeah. Stubbs said he couldn't make it that week, so we'll let him off for that week.
What you want? Well, if you Christmas Day, you want to do on the Christmas Day?
No. I'm just clarifying that because obviously the following 2 Mondays fall on the 25th and the 1st. So I was just checking to see if there's going to be
those. I
or
think
not.
Stubbs will be hungover, so it's not a wise move.
This is true.
Yeah,
this is true. Christmas? No, I don't. I go pub Christmas Eve, but I don't get pissed because it ruins your day if you. I have a few, but having a hangover on Christmas Day is awful, so I don't do that. But I have a few drinks Christmas Eve. I don't do New Year's Eve. I don't do New Year's Eve. I don't do that. I don't go out.
You don't?
I don't.
I don't blame you. But at least we're looking forward to a nice break.
Definitely. Hopefully, I might come back, and I may have completed the game. I may have completed the game.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen.
I know. It's asking too much, isn't it? But anyway,
it is. Just enjoy yourself. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching this show. Everyone in the YouTube chat, everyone on Spotify, give us some Spotify reviews, and also Apple Podcasts is our #1 download platform. Seem to like us on there. I don't know why, but please leave us more Apple reviews or whichever podcast platform you prefer, even YouTube. Please like, share and subscribe. Comment down below. But thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time. See you.